He was found on the street corner. The dead detective. Someone had plugged him full of bullets. He was missing the ring finger of his left hand. In its place, a red stump. Had his enemy wanted his wedding ring? And if so, why? Was it because it was valuable, or for some other more sinister reason? Just looking at the dead detective, it was impossible to tell. All that one could say was this: he was dead. His face was a bluish mask, the lips slightly parted, a sliver of pink tongue visible between them. He bled from his chest, his belly. There were at least 7, no, 8 bullet holes in his body, red as rouge and still wet. Who he had been trying to track down, what mysteries he had been trying to solve, and how much progress he had made in his quest for ultimate answers were all but unanswerable questions. The detective had been turned into something insignificant, unknowable, a corpse, a hollow shell from which the soul had already fled. And that is why the detective who found him was so perplexed. For wasn't he also a seeker of truth, an unraveler of mysteries? And yet, there was no telling what the dead detective had been up to. There was no identification in his jacket or pant pocket, no clues other than a matchbook with the word Jerry's on it to say where he had been before now. No indication that he had worked for this or that detective agency. He was probably a private detective, if not a complete amateur who simply looked the part, an actor even, perhaps. The dead detective had not left any evidence of who he had been before behind. As far as the detective who had found him was concerned, he was better off dead. detective puffs white smoke rings into the sweltering summer air, scratches the side of his nose with a swollen thumb. 3 fireflies fly in circles beneath the lamp that illumines part of the dark detective's overweight form. Out of the darkness, a noise, the sound of an ambulance coming toward him. Or is it the cops? The detective disappears into the night, leaving the dead detective behind, for there is nothing he can do for him now anyway. Matchbook in hand, he heads for Jerry's to see if he can gather some information. When he reaches the bar, however, it is closed. No lights on, no one in sight. Realizing that this is just another dead end, the detective decides to toss the matchbook into the gutter, though something stops him from doing so as he lights up another cigarette and smokes. Moments later, bullets come flying at him, grazing his body. He runs, but is eventually hit. Blood spatters over the pavement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, no, 8 bullets land in his flesh. Before long, he has stopped moving. And that, as they say, would have been the end. Except that it wasn't. For the dead detective is not yet dead. There is still some life left in him. As he crawls across the pavement, he asks himself the question. And who will they say I was? For he realizes that he too hasn't any identification on him, no indicator of where he works, and as he continues to lose blood and starts to feel very cold despite the sweltering heat, he tries to remember his name, his residence, tries to find some shred of memory to cling to, but there's nothing left now. Soon he will be no more than a dead detective, a lump of empty matter. Soon the vagrant will come and cut his ring finger clean off, not realizing that this is the very last scrap of identifying evidence that will keep the next detective as clueless as the last had been. Save for the matchbook rings, which will lead detective number 3 on a wild goose chase. Ending, we are certain,